Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. Today we are here to update my eyeshadow bank. So this is my version of like a low buy this year where it's specifically focused on eyeshadows. I have found that every other category in my collection I have gotten to a point now where I don't really feel the impulse to buy things anymore. So eyeshadows is definitely my weakness and it's the area that I need to focus on. So that's why I decided to do an eyeshadow bank, and I did the same last year. This project is created very heavily inspired by Laura Force. She did create the eyeshadow bank and a lot of the rules I've taken from her. Some of them I adapted to myself, but it is again very heavily inspired by Laura. So make sure to check her out. She will be linked down below, of course. So we do have quite an intense update. It's a lot of things to talk about today, so we are gonna jump straight into the video. But before I do that, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. Let's jump into the video. So of course we're going through May's numbers. I'm posting this a little bit later than normal just because I'm behind after being sick for a couple of days, but I'm getting back on track. So this is of course, like I said, the May numbers. So when we started off in May, my start balance was 228 points, and if you are new to this project, I would recommend checking out my introduction at the beginning of January. But just to recap briefly, I earn points in different categories. The categories are no pan left behind, 10 uses, 100 uses, pans, finished eyeshadows, and then the clutters, which I try not to do, but I can earn points that way too. And I of course earn these points for a reason. I earn them so that I can spend them, and every eyeshadow that I want to spend is 10 points. So you know, it does take a while to earn up to those points. If I do get something gifted to me, or if I get a free gift with purchase, or buy anything with a gift card, that is half the points of an eyeshadow, so that would be 5 points instead of 10. Hope that makes sense. But again, at the start of May I had a balance of 228 points, which equals 22, almost 23 eyeshadows. So we're going to go through the ways that I can earn points and what points I earned in May. So the first category we have is no pan left behind, and no pan left behind, unfortunately I wasn't able to do anything for this month. I didn't no pan left behind a single palette. I've been just very focused on my singles and other things that I'm panning that I just did not get around to no pan left behinding anything, but that is going to change in June for sure. However, in the category for 10 uses, I do have quite a lot of points. I was able to earn 25 points in this category, and I'm going to talk you through what I earned. So first up we have my Viseart Paris Edit palette. I used the shade Patel 10 times, which meant 1 point there. We have my Terra Moon single in Flare Star. I used that one 10 times as well. Then we have my Stila Magnificent Metal in Metallic Peach, that is in my Yellow Period pan. I reached for that one 10 times as well, for a total of 60 all combined. That is including this year and last year's usage. We do have the Pastel Roses single in Bismuth. That one I also reached for 10 times, so another point there for a total of 30 tracked. We have two shades from my Soft Glam palette. We have the shade Noir, which is the black shade in the palette. I reached for that one 10 times for a total of 30. And the shade Rustic also 10 times, but for a total of 60. So some points there as well for my Panda palette. We're continuing on with Panda palette, but this is for like my BYOP. So we have some more singles. We have the shade Kaleidoscope from Colourpop, which is a departed single from the Dream Street palette. I reached for that one 10 times for a total of 50. And we also have the Colourpop single in Champs. I also reached for that one 10 times. That is also departed from, I think, the Just Please palette, if I remember correctly. We also have another single from my BYOP, which is the Glam Shop single in Bombawi. I reached for that one 10 times for a total of 20. So that is some of the points. I need a little breather because we aren't done yet. I think I might even have to split this into 2 pages when I'm going through the points because it's a lot. So let's continue on. I also have my Natasha Denona Love palette. I reached for the shade Valentine 10 times for a total of 20 tracked. I have my NYX beige single is departed from the In Your Element Air palette, I believe. I reached for that one 10 times for a total of 120 uses tracked. So very, very high. We have the Pastel Roses single in Starburst, reached for that one 10 times. We have Terra Moon's Cinnamon Sugar. I reached for that one 10 times as well. We have Cleona Crown Jewel reach for that one 10 times for a total of 20. Then we do have some big jumps right here. This is from my Soft Glam palette again, but these two, I had a Franken that I finished, and whenever I finish a Franken, I add those uses in when it's finished, and that's why there's such a big jump for these two shades. But we have the shade Orange Soda, which I reached for 40 times for a total of 120. And the shade Dusty Rose that I reached for 30 times for a total of 80. So very good with those points. We have a couple more shades to go. We only have 3 though. All 3 of these are also from my BYOP Like Panda palette. We have the shade Starlight from the Pastel Roses, reached for that one 10 times for a total of 40. We have the Glam Shop single in Laser, reached for that one 10 times. And also from Glam Shop we have the shade Vegas Bliss, which I reached for 10 times, but for a total of 20 uses tracked. So that is everything that I earned in the 10 uses category, so quite a high amount. So of course very happy with that points. With those points I'm very happy with 25 points. I mean, that's 2.5 eyeshadows used from usage, so very pleased. Let's move on to the 100 use category, and I do have one shadow in this category which I have mentioned. It is one of the shades that I have in my Franken that I finished, and that is the shade Orange Soda from my Soft Glam palette. With those Franken uses counted in, I was sitting, like I said, at 120 uses, which means I passed that threshold. So I end up earning 5 points in that category. Yeah, I earn 5 points for every 100 use threshold, so that is 5 additional points, which again is very useful. We have 2 more categories to go. The next category is pans, and I was able to hit 2 pans in the month of May. We have the single from Terra Moons in Flare Star, hit pan on that one, as well as the shade from my VCR Paris Edit palette. I also hit pan on the shade Petal, so those 2 shades are 2 more points there. I unfortunately wasn't able to finish on the eyeshadows though, so 0 points in that category, and that is all the points that I earned. So adding all of that up, I was able to earn 32 points in the month of May, which I think is pretty good. So that is where I'm sitting there. However, we did bring in quite a few points. So I'm going to talk you through everything that I brought in, everything that I need to mention for points, because again, we have a lot of points spent, so let me talk you through it. So first up, I did end up making one purchase this past month, and I have it right here in this palette, which kind of indicates what it is. I mean, the brand is here as well, but it is singles. So I did end up making another purchase from Cleona. I have been lusting for these shadows for a long time, and I decided to pick some of them up in this past month. And what I decided to go with are these 10 singles right here, so you can see them right there. So that's 10 singles, and I paid full price for these. I didn't use a gift card or anything. I don't know if they had a sale on anything, but I didn't use a gift card or I didn't get gifted these, so these are full on points. So 10 shadows means 10 points per shadow is 100 points, so 100 points spent right here. But yeah, I'm very excited for these, because these are some more kind of, you know, neutral-ish shades, not all of them, but some of them, and I'm very excited to have these in my collection, and I think these are going to be absolutely stunning to reach for, so I'm very excited that I ended up picking these up finally. So that is kind of what I spent myself this past month, but I was very kindly gifted some things as well from one of my subscribers, Creora. She has contacted me before. She sent me in the past the Pat McGrath Midnight Sun palette, and she reached out to me again saying that she was decluttering a couple things and asked if I wanted to have them in my collection, and I said yes. So she did end up sending me 2 palettes and some singles, so I'm going to talk you through what those are as well. So the first thing that she gifted me, which I'm so pleased to have in my collection, because it's something that I've been kind of lusting a little bit more after recently. It wasn't originally on my wanting to buy list, but it has definitely been added to it, so I'm very grateful that she sent this to me, and that is the Natasha Nona My Dream palette. So this is such a beautiful one. It looks like this. You can see she has obviously used it, but barely, so I'm very grateful. I am super excited to play with this one. It is more of an autumnal kind of color story for me, but I'm still excited to have it in my collection. It's definitely one that I want to try to play with and see how I like. I haven't actually reached for it yet, but I'm very excited to do so. And of course, this palette has 15 shades, so that would have been 150 points if I purchased it myself, but considering she gifted it to me, it ended up being 75 additional points for this palette right here. But yeah, very excited, and we do have another Natasha Nona palette in my collection. And again, it's such a beautiful, like, kind of slightly smokier everyday palette. But yeah, very excited to play with this one. Then the second palette she sent to me is not one that was necessarily on my like wanting to buy list or anything. I actually haven't heard about this palette, but I have heard about this brand and I'm very excited to try this brand. And that is a palette from Simply Posh. This is the Northern Lights palette. I do believe they have remade this palette now. This is the original one, and it has 12 shades. You can see it right here. It's an all shimmer palette, and it is full of special like duo and multi-chrome shimmers. Very, very excited to have this one. It is mainly like blues and teals and purples, but yeah, I think it's going to be very, very fun, and it's nice to be able to play with a new formula. So again, I haven't really played with this one that much yet, so I don't have any opinions on it, but very grateful to have it. And I have been swatching all of these palettes so much since I got them, and I just love staring at the beautiful shifts, and this one definitely does have some beautiful shifts. And judging from the swatches, I do think it's a formula that I'm gonna really enjoy. So that is the second palette that she sent over, and this one again has 12 shades, so originally would have been 120 points, but since it was gifted to me, it's half of that, which is 60. So 60 points out of my collection with this palette. And then the last thing she sent to me was some singles, which are in here. Unfortunately, they did smash, most of them did smash in transit, which is very kind of sad, but I did salvage what I could, so I did end up repressing what I could, and I separated pigment that was still like in chunks, and so I was able to save most of them, like a decent amount. Some of them have, you know, not that much left in them now, but at least I get to try the formula and the shade, so I'm still very grateful. And I did actually end up making a Franken shade with all of the kind of leftover crumbles, I guess. So that is going to be excited to reach for too. But these are the singles right here, so it's quite a few, and again, some of them are of course like have less on them. Like this is the one that I was able to salvage the least of. This one as well doesn't have too much, and then this one here, this one is like okay, but yeah, I'm excited to play around with these either way. Some of these are brand new brands to me. I think this is Ube from, what is it called again? It is called Luxie, right? It's Luxie, that's not Ube. Yes, it is Luxie, so I have Luxie in there. I also have Copacetic. She sent some Copacetic singles. There's another Luxie single here. I know some Terra Moons, which I've obviously tried. The one single that did not get any damage in transit is this one, which is from Davina, is Nocturne Ash, which is one that I don't own, but I'm very, very excited to play with. We also have a Shine by SD shade, which I'm quite sad because I wanted to try this shade anyway. It's the shade Tease, but at least I get to like try that one, and it's going to be very quick to pan, which is going to be easy. So yeah, I think those are the main things. We have another Luxie single there, so yeah, Luxie, Terra Moons, Davina, Shine by SD, and Copacetic I think is in here. So again, very excited to get to try some new brands, and of course, even though I wasn't able to salvage all of it, I was able to salvage enough that I get to try all of these shades. So again, very, very grateful. And Kriora, if you're watching this, thank you so much for sending all of these over. I'm so excited. And yeah, that is the things that I brought in. So for the singles, how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9, and that is including the Franken shade. So the Franken shade is this one down here, but I decided to count that as one because it is another shadow coming into my collection. So 9 singles again would have been 90 points originally, but half that is 45. So that is what I brought in this month to my collection. So yeah, quite a big change to my collection. I haven't brought in that much stuff in one singular month in a long time, but I'm very, very grateful for it, and I am gonna make sure to play around with these things. So judging from all that, adding all of those points up, I brought in 280 points worth of eyeshadows this past month, and looking at like the points, so again at the beginning of the month I had a balance of 228, so not quite 280, and taking away the 280 which I spent means that I was at a deficit of 52 points. However, I was able to, like I said, earn 32 points in the month of May, which means that I am finishing the month off in the negative, which is something that I try to avoid to do, but I am allowed to do if I'm gifted things, which is the case here, because obviously I don't really know fully what I'm going to get, and you know, if someone wants to politely gift me something, I am allowed to go into negative. I'm still going to count the points, but I'm allowed to go into negative. I'm not, however, allowed to go into negative like on my own accord, if that makes sense. So we are wrapping up the month of May with negative 20. It is not as bad as I thought it would be when I first knew that I was going to get all of those palettes sent to me and all those, you know, things. But I did a good job earning points in May. So overall, I'm really happy with just being in the negative 20 starting with June. So that is going to be my beauty budget for the month of May. The goal for June, I don't think I'm going to bring anything in. I don't think I'm going to bring anything in for the next coming months because I am having my baby this month, or you know, in June, July. So within the next month or a month and a week or something like that from filming this, I'm gonna have my baby, which is, you know, very exciting but also a little bit terrifying. But I don't think I'm gonna have time to spend you know, looking at eyeshadows online. So unless I'm gifted something, I don't think I'm gonna bring anything in. I also probably need to start thinking about where I spend my money because I'm gonna be on maternity leave. So we are gonna, you know, we're just gonna have to see how it goes, but I don't think I'm gonna spend any more points in June. So my goal is gonna be to just go back into the positives, and I don't think that's gonna be that difficult because negative 20 is obviously a big chunk, but I do think I can do it if I just focus on, you know, hitting those user goals, hitting pans, and trying to just, like, you know, add up points where I can. So again, that is going to be it for today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and I will of course catch you in my next one. Bye guys.